Hello everybody, welcome to my first episode of my new series called Coaching with Coffee. And today we have my athlete and fiance, Abby Smith. So first episode, kind of wanted to take it a little bit easier and interview somebody I know maybe a little bit better. And also with the COVID-19, it's kind of hard to interview people. So I might be doing a lot on like a Skype call or something like that. But yeah, today we've got my fiance and she's going to talk all about her college experience and how COVID-19 has maybe affected her college experience. So as we kind of dive in, we're also going to go over maybe some things that you could do to prepare for your next race. So stay tuned to that. That's going to be at the end. And let's kind of dive right in and address Abby's mug. So I have this nice running mug right here. Asics. Yeah.
Pretty.
And then she's got this Harry Potter mug. How does this even fit in?
It's pretty. It's also, we've used a lot of mugs in the last couple of days, so.
Lots of coffee and coaching. I think I put the mug out of the frame, so I'm moving it back. Yeah. Remember, this is the first episode, so we got a lot of work to do. All right, let's dive right into the questions then. So, Abby, how has this affected your, college experience and your running and personal life within this last semester of your college career?
That's a loaded question.
Yeah, loaded. Like,
a lot
like
to
a baked
answer.
potato. Loaded potato. Now, we'll just go on. Let's move
on. So for me, I was in college. I've been in college. Was in college for 5 years. I started out in a community college setting and then transferred to a university. And I've been running the whole time. So I have had, I don't even know how many coaches.
You had your community college coach.
Yeah.
And then you had, you kind of had Nick Moss for just a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you had Mac and now
Laura.
Nick Laura.
So I had 4 coaches in the span of my 5-year career as a student athlete. So I have had like a lot of experience with different types of coaching and a different like team aspects, and I've got to say that this pandemic hit pretty hard. It was pretty disappointing to not have my senior year, especially because I am a huge track person. I'm a middle distance runner, so I do 400, 800, and 1500 in college. So not being able to compete in track was really, really difficult.
Just so you guys know, track is in the spring, cross country is in the fall, and normally you run both when you're a distance runner. So essentially, Abby had her cross country season, and then they had her indoor season during like the winter kind of months. And actually, nationals got canceled right as the pandemic hit.
Yep.
So like literally, Division II nationals was going to happen. Everybody flew out there, and then they canceled it. So that was crazy. Abby wasn't there, but
I'm not.
That is that is what kind of happened with nationals. Just so you guys know a little bit about what happened with NCAA and all that. So, but yeah, so she missed her track season, and that's her bread and butter. So, sorry, you can go ahead.
No, you're good. Thanks for explaining that, because I don't know if everybody knows that.
I don't think everybody knows that.
So, like, it was really difficult for me to have a cross season, which is not really, like, what I love to do, although I do love it, and then not being able to do outdoor track, which is, I did indoor. That's another thing, is I don't know if everybody knows what that is. There's 2 different seasons. So in the winter, between cross country and outdoor track, there's indoor, which you run on a smaller track, you're inside. It's a little bit different. You don't get to run as fast of times because you're inside, and the tracks are a little bit smaller, a little bit tighter, so it's a little awkward. But
fun. I love indoor.
I don't like indoor. I hate indoor.
I'm really tall too, and it's really hard for me to run corners, but I really like indoor. It's actually, maybe my favorite season. I can maybe go as far as saying that. I loved it. It's you just feel like you're going so fast on those small tracks, and there's like so many people, and it's so loud, and I love it. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
The only good thing about indoor is the DMR, and I never got to run it once.
DMR. Love the DMR.
Yeah,
you guys want distance medley
once.
relay.
Okay,
it's awesome.
We're getting off track here.
You guys can look it up. You'll see
it is pretty cool, especially if you're on a college team with a good DMR who's about to make it to nationals. Too bad they didn't, for me, at least for my team. They were very close. But anyway, so I got to do indoor and cross, which are two seasons that I enjoy but aren't my favorite. And then outdoor is like the best thing to me, and that is like I love making circles around that big 400-meter track,
circles.
which I only do like maybe 4 of them, maybe. I do a little less than 4 in the 15, but going back to like how it kind of affected me this year, last season, outdoor season, I had just started running the 1500. I had been doing the 800 and the 400 for years. I tried the mile in high school. I was decent at it. I didn't really do any like longer distance track stuff except for one 5K on the track when I was in junior college, which was not fun. But going back to that is my coach saw something in me and he threw me in a 1500, and it was the first time that I had ever run it competitively, and I actually was good at it. So this year was supposed to be the year that I could start dropping time significantly, and it was supposed to be the year that I was going to like see what I could actually do in it. So last year was like a developmental, like trying this out, seeing what I can do, and this year was supposed to be the like, you know what I mean? Like the
year that you figured it out?
Yeah, finally? The year that I finally figured it out. And that not being able to have that was very disappointing. And I tried to not let it affect me. Like as soon as they were announcing everything, I was trying to stay on the positive side and just saying, okay, well now I can start moving on to newer and different things and running. I still want to try the 15. I still want to see what I can do in the 800, but I was just like I was trying to stay positive. And while I was watching everybody else post these horrible, like, sad stories on Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff, I was trying to avoid doing that. So I haven't actually, like, this is the first time that I'm actually expressing my disappointment on something that isn't with just my family and my fiance. So yeah, it was, I don't know, I think I tried not to let it affect me, I guess is what I'm saying, but it did affect me, and it did hurt.
I mean, that's like, she can't do her last season now. It's kind of...
Yeah.
That's the bummer part. I mean, like, your last season's always like that season where you want to go out with fireworks and stuff. So it's hard definitely not to be able to do your last season. Yeah. I actually got an extra last season, so I got lucky there. Lucky you. But she still has eligibility, so if she ever went back to college in a D2 school, she could still run, actually. So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, that's very true. There's a lot of people who were on my team who were technically seniors, but they were going to be continuing after because they didn't finish their degree, but they ran out of eligibility. So this pandemic whole situation means that they get to go back if they would like to. If they don't finish, if they're going to graduate next spring, they can go back for outdoor track next year if we have it.
All right.
So that, I mean, that for a lot of people, that's kind of what they decided to do. Wow, that was a weird. They decided to do.
Happens.
But for me, unfortunately, I had already added an extra minor, so I was already over the time that I needed to be at school. So
2 minors and a major. So,
I added the extra minor the year before when I found out that I was actually going to be good at the 15 just to hit this last year, and I didn't even get it. So that was really
sad. Oh, well, now you got 2 minors. That brings me into our next kind of point then. So how does this also affect you personally? Or like with your college, with like more of the school aspect and all that as well. So, I mean.
So yeah. I guess, like, for me personally, like, just the whole lockdown situation didn't really affect my personal life very much because I am definitely, like, a homebody. I like to stay in my house. I don't like to go out. So it didn't really affect that aspect. And plus my parents were okay with me going to his house and me coming back to theirs because I live with my parents. So that was, like, very normal for me.
We just pretty much went from each other's house. We didn't go all over the place. We were going
just his house,
just mine, hers, mine, hers. So
yeah, and it was just us. Like, it's not like we're meeting a bunch of people in the middle of that or anything. But like the whole like personal life didn't really get affected by this because I don't go anywhere. But I did lose my job, or lost my job. I'm still technically employed, but they can't.
She's actually unemployed. So
I
guess
am,
that would
but
be,
I'm not. But
yeah.
they'll still give me hours once this pans out. Like once this ends. I don't actually know what's going on, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
So it didn't really affect me like too much in my personal life besides that I'm unemployed and that I had to stay home and I can't like going to trails wasn't really that much of an option even though like I tried to go to as many as I could when I could. But yeah.
So Abby, you actually coach like athletes.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So we coach at the same.
Yeah.
We coach at the same high school. So, so basically, we both coach at Brighton High School.
Yeah.
So, I want to have Abby dive in this a little bit more than I do because I probably offered enough of my perspective in my other YouTube videos, I guess. So, Abby's gonna actually go over how it affected our high school athletes as well. So some of them had senior years as well.
Yeah.
And maybe we're going to go to try to get into college and stuff with their running and kind of prove to the colleges that they belong there. So this is a huge aspect that the colleges, I guess, are dealing with right now is how do you recruit when you don't even have a track season to look at? You have cross country, but not a track season. So how do you feel like this affected our athletes?
So I watched a lot of heartbreak from a lot of our distance girls, and I don't follow any of the boys, but
I can go over more of that in just a second.
So I like watching their reactions to this was kind of heartbreaking for me and for them, and a lot of them were frustrated because they didn't actually cancel when the NCAA canceled the nationals. They also, like, my MSU Denver canceled spring sports. That same day they canceled spring sports. And we had a big meeting and we talked about it and they told us, like, that it just wasn't feasible. But at the high school level, our district and actually Chasta,
the state, Chasta, the governing body for Colorado high school athletics, actually didn't even cancel. They actually postponed till April 17th or something.
It was April 6th.
But they postponed it, and they postponed it, and they actually didn't just pull the trigger and cancel.
So they were, like, kids were kind of holding on to that hope of, like, there might be a possibility that I get my season, that I get my senior season, that I get my junior season, whatever it may be. But at the same time, like, a lot of them realized that this probably isn't going to happen, and I think that was, like, really devastating for a lot of them. But the thing about like our kids, I don't know if this is true for everybody, but a lot of our kids, like even the ones that I didn't think were that dedicated, like still asked for workouts, still tried to ask like, well, what does this mean? Like they were trying to understand, and I would see on their Instagram stories that they were running every day, they were trying to like challenge each other to do things, and like I know one of our athletes actually set up a 6K with a church or something.
Yes.
To try and get people to go out, and she posted all about that. And yeah, it was just like, it was heartbreaking to watch it happen to them, but at the same time, it was very uplifting to see them react in the way that they did and realize that running isn't just a sport for them, it's a lifestyle. And that they were using it as an outlet for their stress and being cooped up at home with their families and that whole aspect. And I just thought that was really cool. I don't know if you saw that in the boys, but...
So, I mean, I'm the head coach of the boys. So, I guess, I mean, I'm mainly the hurdles coach at Brighton High School. So, I don't actually coach distance at Brighton High School, but I coach the hurdlers. So, essentially, what I've kind of noticed, I'm just adding on to what Abby's already said, is... I mean, yeah, everybody was frustrated. Everybody was angry that their season was kind of all messed up. And they're like, are we even going to have a season? That's what I even got from some of my athletes. So, basically, yeah, I mean, nobody knows. The uncertainty is the thing that kills people, I feel like. Really crushes their spirit. So if you guys are uncertain, just keep pushing forward. You can always keep training. I'm going to go again at the end of the video what you guys can kind of do to kind of maybe like train for something in the future. So there's always that hope for the future, and you can always be making improvements. Actually, this is a good, like without races, you can just train hard really. So it's great. But I'll go into that in the video. So one thing I also noticed with a lot of my high school athletes is I had to really push for them to get into colleges. Like as their coach, I was like contacting college coaches and be like, hey, this person's going to be great. Like, you guys should definitely look into him. So we have, like, I know Minot State has recruited possibly 2 of my athletes. I know they definitely recruited 1, and
I think they.
he would have made it to state. I know he would have made it to state, and I'm pretty sure the other one would have made it to state as well, but they didn't get a chance to prove it. So last season they were close, but not quite there. This season I knew they were going to make it to state, and I was excited for them. And then this whole thing happened. So I had to really push for those athletes and be like, these guys have potential. Like, I just started working with them, and they're already doing really well. So really excited to see those guys run. They're going to be hopefully running at Minot State again. I think I already said that, but let's move on and go on to our next question then. So moving forward, Abby, how does this affect your plans moving forward? Like, what do you want to see out of your running in the next maybe couple months, year, 2 years down the road?
So I haven't thought very far ahead. Personally, like, I mean, we've had conversations about, like, you coaching me and, like, where you would like to see me and kind of where I would like to see me and, like, how I want to continue trying to do a track, like, trying to, like, at least one more time do a couple races, whether it be an 800 or a 15, which would be nice. But personally, like, towards the end of my cross country and indoor season, I started to fall into this, I guess you could kind of call it senioritis. I don't necessarily know if it was just senioritis or if I was starting to get burnt out. But once I stopped running, I was just trying to find, like, joy in running again. So I would go out for some trail runs, and I would try and, like, kind of, like, try and get in the groove of running every day. And I guess, like, one of my goals now is to just find the joy in running again, like, completely. Which is more of, like, a mental aspect than it is a physical aspect, but you've got to have those kind of goals, and, like, so that's like my main goal right now is just to kind of find the joy in running again and see success in that. And then once I start doing that, then I want to go and I want to see if I can do another 15 at the same pace the same time that I did before this pandemic hit, and, like, maybe an 800, but also I know that probably won't be until later down the road because track probably won't come back until there's a vaccine, or I don't even know.
Yeah, so I mean I feel like there are maybe still some races that are options. So I might be doing some of those, kind of what we discussed. Maybe even looking at maybe doing some trail racing, possibly as well. But yeah, essentially what we're doing is, I mean, there are some summer track races too, and last time I checked, they were not canceled. They were kind of waiting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there's some that were in California, so I'm looking at some of those myself. Maybe Abby could do some of that as well. We'll kind of see how things play out. A lot of time trials, though, is good. Good to keep your mind sane if you guys want to definitely keep your mind sane. But let's kind of dive right in to what you guys should be doing to really help kind of, I guess, improve your fitness right now during this period of, like, the lack of racing. So whether you are a, like, beginner runner just doing, like, 5Ks in the weekends or something like that, or you're taking it pretty serious and maybe you're a like professional runner trying to figure out what you're going to do, like there's no races that you can race, well, this is a really good time to do more of a base phase. So what I mean by base phase is essentially just getting a lot of miles in general, like just going for miles as opposed to going for these really high intense workouts. So I mean, it's not going to be like easy running every single day. At first, you may be easy running every single day and just build your mileage a little bit. But normally what I do when I coach my athletes is I actually give them easy running, but then I mix in some like hill sprints that are like 20 seconds long, and then they have a walk down recovery or something like that. So they're still hitting those fast twitch and making sure those don't go away, but they're not working them so hard that they're gonna like plateau or anything like that. So you can still work fast twitch in the off season, but definitely just be careful with it. Do really short bouts, not super intense. Do it on hill sprints at 90 to 100% of max. So that's kind of what I do with speed wise. And then we're looking at more of an endurance workout. Marathon pace is great. Maybe even some threshold work. And maybe every couple weeks, just hit every system. Just a little bit. You don't have to hit it a whole lot. During these periods that you have no racing, now is a good time to just build that base. So really get that base mileage in, really improve your overall foundation to your running. So this is like you could take a huge advantage of this, or you could just stop running and then lose fitness. And with running, that can be fairly hard to get back. I mean, it'll definitely take you a couple weeks to maybe even a couple months, depending how much time you take off. So definitely continue and progress. And if you guys found value in this, definitely give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We'll catch you guys next Saturday. Tune in, and I'm out of coffee.
I'm not.
This is unfortunate. I gotta go get more coffee.